Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Game on Cloud9 here, and today I'm here to bring you guys a Naruto manga 668 prediction. It's been a few weeks since I've done any videos, like none. So, I figured I needed to pump out and give you guys another video. I need to be more frequent than I have because I have been a terrible YouTuber probably the past several months, of just being very inconsistent. But those of you who still stick with me and watch my videos, I have to say I do appreciate that. And before I get on to everything else, I want to say I'm glad Supreme Guru 76 is back. I really love his videos, and I think he's a good uploader. So, obviously, just letting you guys know in case, some of you out there didn't know that, so you can watch his videos since he's going to be uploading again. And I also want to let you guys know about someone else who is switching channels recently, and that is Ryu Itachi. He's now got another channel called Ryu Itachi 2. I want you guys to go there, subscribe to his channel, show him some support, so that he can, obviously continue to upload. And he has really good content. He puts a lot of work into it, so I definitely think you guys should go ahead and check him out for those of you who already haven't. But anyway, let's jump into this Naruto chapter this week. Now, we all know past couple weeks Naruto and Sasuke have basically been laid out, and we know that, we've all, or at least I know, most of us have been wondering, okay, what is going to be the thing that sets Naruto and Sasuke on the same level as Madara, or at least, give them enough power to compete, because we all know Madara is basically like the sage of the six paths now. And finally, this week we found out in the beginning of the chapter of who the mystery person was, the foot person. There were so many theories everybody had as far as who it could have been. Some people said, I know, I think when I was watching for Neverworld's video, he stated that he thinks it was the Sage Six Paths mother, Kaguya Otsuki. Which I thought, it's possible. I didn't really know if that was actually going to be the case, but there was also the Shisui theory, which I thought, that's also possible as well. I really just became dumbfounded at a certain point because I was like, okay, Karin said, she couldn't tell who this person's chakra was. I didn't think it was Kabuto's chakra because Kabuto, he stated himself that, or not, or we all know that Kabuto, obviously that, he worked on Karin before, back in I don't know, pre-time skip, or in between the time skip. We know that he's experimented with Orochimaru on Karin, on Kimimaru, on Suigetsu. So I figured, okay, she has to know this dude's chakra. It shouldn't be any surprise. But obviously, I guess that wasn't the case because it ended up being him. And at first, I got pretty confused. Which, by the way, I had to give King of Lightning. Obviously, I have to give you some props, man, because you did, stick to your guns and say it was Kabuto when I didn't even think it was going to be Kabuto. What I mean? At first, I thought, okay, it's possible. I do think it's him, but then, later on, as soon as I heard, Karin say that, like, oh, this chakra seems different than it's evil and all this, I was like, okay, it can't be him. But obviously now, we see Kabuto still has like Orochimaru cells in his body, which I thought when Orochimaru took back his chakra, Kabuto no longer like had the abilities Orochimaru had. I thought maybe he would still have the other stuff, but we saw like the horns and everything disappear as soon as he absorbed his chakra back. But apparently he retained some of it, so he can still go on Dragon Sage mode, and he still has like the snake on his I guess on his navel. We see him using that to actually pump. I'm guessing it's Hashirama cells into Sasuke's body because basically the reason. Well, first of all, let me start off by saying, you know, I already had a feeling that Sasuke was going to actually get the Renegon, when he awakens. But then I'm also kind of wondering too if maybe he'll have his own type of unique Sage mode as well, because he does have Jugo cells in his body, and then now Kabuto is obviously finding, through the research of Hashirama cells and his advanced medical ninjutsu, he's doing something, and pumping something into Sasuke, and he's not just like healing him in the typical way a medical ninja would heal, because Sasuke's injuries, although he was laid out and stabbed by Madara, it didn't look so severe to the point where, what Kabuto's doing right now. Because all he did was get like a pretty bad stab wound. I couldn't see why he couldn't just use some other medical ninjutsu to heal him. So everybody, I'm pretty sure most of us have predicted this point, Renegon, although I've said this long ago. Everybody was saying, oh, he's not going to get Renegon. I mean, as far as I forgot exactly what it was. I know I have a video discussing, why I thought Sasuke would have the Renegon, but it was basically, I mean, it's even been said like earlier on. I'd probably say, a few hundred chapters ago when the Renegon was first introduced, that whoever holds the Renegon, can either be, the savior of the world or like, I guess bringer of destruction. I mean, that's not what it said verbatim, but that's basically what it inferred, and it was saying that the Renegon, basically came from another world. Now, granted, we all know that that's not exactly the case, but the way the legend, made it seem as if, it was the case, I figured, okay, Sasuke has this whole theme, with hawks, with heaven, you know, with him flying. I kind of figured, okay, and obviously since he's an Uchiha, and we found out the Rinnegan was like the final stage of the Sharingan, I'm like, there's no way that the main Uchiha. The reason why I say main Uchiha is because Sasuke's one of the main characters. There's no way he would not get the Rinnegan. So I mean, I'm pretty much saying I'm about 90% sure he's gonna either wake up with Rinnegan, or if he doesn't wake up with Rinnegan, he's gonna wake up with the eyes that the Sage of the Six Paths elder son, the Uchiha one, the eyes that he had, the Spiral Rinnegan. Well, that's what everybody likes to call it, the Spiral Rinnegan. He's gonna have something along those lines. Now, of course, after that scene, in Kabuto, we find out he has a changed heart because of Itachi and Izanami and stuff. Then we finally flash over to the scene back to with Guy and, Madara, that, whole business. We didn't really see Naruto too much in this chapter. Mainly the only flash we got of him and Sasuke was when basically Kabuto, talked about how basically, he realizes that both of him and Obito are the reasons why they started this war, but now they're basically trying to change things because they were lost at the time. Although I'm like, Kabuto, you're gonna have to get some jail time. I mean, if he doesn't at least get that, because I'm not a person that believes in, let's say, execution. Because I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that, a person, unless it's in self-defense, that you should have the right to take the life of someone else, no matter what the case is, because you're not God. Now granted, this is a manga, but you know, I'm like, I think at the very least he should be locked up, like after this war. I don't think he should just be able to waltz back to the orphanage. But anyway, after that we see Guy, and of course, Minato and Kakashi are trying to figure out how to be able to stop Madara, which is like, you can't stop Madara. You guys have no tricks up your sleeve. Madara's just messing around right now, and of course, after that part, we saw, you know, Minato actually talking, explaining to Kakashi, or actually asking Kakashi, how did he survive that Senjutsu Rasengan? Kakashi explains with Kamui, which I'm gonna have to agree with probably the majority of the Naruto fan base on this one. I held out for a long time, but now it does seem as if Kakashi using the Kamui as much as he's been using is sort of like or not even sort of, it is a plot hole, because unless Kishimoto can somehow, and to me it would still be a bit late to explain this, but explain like maybe with him and Obito being next to each other, it doesn't put as much strain on his body because Obito's close or something. I don't know, some kind of weird explanation. It's like, okay, I'm not even worried about him going blind as much as I'm saying, remember Kakashi could only use like Kamui like twice a day or something, or three times, and then he would get ready to pass out. I mean, heck, when he tried to use it to stop one of Dedar's explosions, he darn near died, and he was out for an complete arc. That's why Yamato had to step in, and now that seems like, oh, that makes no sense as why he was about to die back then. And they've been fighting a war for what, days now, and nonstop Chidori's, lightning blades. I remember when lightning blade, he could only do that a few times a day. Shoot, he's done countless of those on the same time in the battlefield, and it's not like he's had a chance to recharge his batteries either. So that really doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Guy figures out, of course, the Taijutsu is the only thing that works. So he tries to go in the seventh gate, attack Madara, do his little thing, which was exciting because I do love seeing Guy and Lee, especially Lee. When Lee fights, it's awesome. The same thing with Guy, try to go in, and Madara's just avoiding this. And he even says, you can't, basically, using the seventh gate means nothing. If you don't have red steam, you can't do anything. And that's basically inferring the eighth gate. So, it gets to the point, where Guy tries to use Afternoon Tiger. Madara basically just blows through that like it's nothing. And then we have Guy laid out. Lee comes to the rescue, which, everyone always wants to say Lee is useless. No, no, man. Lee is awesome. Granted, Lee doesn't get the screen time, or panel time, I should say, in this case, that he deserves. But I still think he's a pretty fairly strong character. It's just that he hasn't, I guess, had an opponent. Most of the fights that happened with the Akatsuki, they were paired up with certain people. He hasn't had that chance to be able to face off with someone. I still think he's one of the stronger characters in the Konoha 11. I mean, I hope, maybe he helps out Guy a little bit in this fight. But anyway, right after that, then we end up, of course, we find out that Tenten is trying to figure out something with those weapons. So those weapons are going to play a major role later on. Although I'm not sure how she's going to be able to use them since, her chakra reserves are basically crap, in comparison to, like, let's say Naruto, Sasuke, heck, probably even Sakura. So after that, then it gets to the point where Guy realizes, which we've all been waiting for this moment. Guy realizes that he has no other choice. Kakashi's just like, wait, like you're not going to, and he's just like, sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do, in order to basically make it forward. So he's gonna, he said he's gonna evolve from a green beast into a red beast, and we all know what that means. Guy is finally going to use the eighth gate of death. Finally, I mean, granted, I know that may sound messed up considering the fact that we've been waiting for. I mean, it's kind of messed up because, Guy is a cool character, but this is something that's been hyped up since part one. So actually, I'm not that sad about Guy's death. I do like Guy as a character, but then, at the same time, I feel like, this does two things. One, it adds another death to the table in the war. So, everybody who was saying, like, the fourth grade ninja war has no deaths, we got freaking Shikaku, which is Shikamaru's father. We got Inoichi, Ino's father, which they weren't the most like relevant characters, but they do play a relevance when it comes down to Shikacho, especially with the whole generation thing. You got Neji, who was I would say, probably one of the major supporting characters, and then on top of that, now you have Guy, who was also a major supporting character that's going to die in this war, presumably. At least I'm hoping. Well, yeah, I guess I'm saying I'm hoping so, because I mean it would make sense for him to die with the eighth gate. So here's the thing. Now, what do I think is going to happen as soon as he uses it? Well, of course, I'm hoping that it's gonna look a little bit different than the other gates. Like maybe he has somewhat of a beastly appearance, not just him just turning red and having the aura like he normally does, which I think Kishimoto will do. Maybe I don't know, his jacket rips off or something, just something epic, some kind of flair to it. Not saying that the gates don't already have flair to it, but just more of a beastly appearance. So that it seems more exciting. And of course, everyone's already said the name of the move that we all know is going to be Midnight Dragon. Why? Because all of Guy's moves, including his summoning, are based on this. I forgot. It's like this Chinese legend, basically with a. I know it involves a turtle, and then there's a peacock, and then there's of course the what was it, the tiger, and then the dragon's the only one we haven't seen. And then it's the perfect time right now. It's nighttime, so you could say midnight. Midnight Dragon. We'll probably see some panel of it up in the air. And right in front of the moon, probably a big double page spread. I don't think that the eighth gate is going to last too long. He's probably only going to show it for one chapter. And you may actually question, well, why do I say that? Because Kishimoto likes to do things, or likes to basically not only leave volumes off, well, yeah, leave volumes off on basically huge cliffhangers. In case some of you guys didn't actually notice this, this is a huge pattern that you have to pay attention to in Naruto. That's how I know when a big chapter is coming up, and that's probably why when some of these chapters you guys say, oh, this chapter felt slow, or why did he throw this flashback in? It's because there's a certain way he likes to pace it out, which can be good, and sometimes it can't be. So if, let's say, you don't like, I don't know, like chapter 671 of Naruto or something, you'll probably, I can probably guarantee you that chapter like 679 is probably going to be really good because it's going to leave off on some epic cliffhanger, something you didn't expect. That's usually how he likes to do things. So usually one chapter doesn't get me down if I don't really, let's say, feel like I got my fill of Naruto for the week. Now, as far as what power up I think Naruto's gonna get, we all know he's probably gonna become the Sage of Six Paths. Why? Because he has all the other Tail Beast chakra, and then obviously Obito's gonna put the one-tailed that he pulled out, like the little piece of the one-tails, and then the eight tails in there, and obviously that's gonna do something right there, and thus we'll have Sage of the Six Paths Naruto, or I wouldn't say quite Sage Six Paths. It's gonna be pseudo Sage of the Six Paths. The reason why he's gonna be pseudo is because he only has a piece, so it wouldn't make sense for him to be on the same level as Madara. Plus, Madara was already OP before this. But I'm pretty sure, along with Sasuke's help and with both of them having some type of senjutsu to not only to kind of augment what they already have, they'll be able to actually stand on equal footing with Madara together, or at least stand a fighting chance with the Shinobi Alliance on their side. So that's going to be pretty darn exciting. That's going to definitely be the cliffhanger, probably in chapter 669, with Naruto and Sasuke waking up and them having their respective power-ups after Guy dies. So Guy is basically the person that's I guess like Kishimoto's using this as another, not only another death to kind of push on Naruto and Sasuke to finally beat Madara, but then obviously to also stall for time, and to satisfy the fans, all at once, because we all want to see the eighth gate. So this isn't a bad way to stall it, because I'm pretty hyped for this. I wouldn't mind if he actually had them actually going at it for a few chapters, but it's not going to happen like that. I doubt it. Eighth gate is going to last one chapter, just like when the seventh gate was introduced. It was only for like one chapter, so it's going to be a pretty quick fight. He may take Madara off guard for a second, which in a sense would be a little bit surprising considering, again, this is Uchiha Madara. He was OP ridiculously before he got the Jubi, and now he has the Jubi. But, I mean, guy has to go out in a bang. So, I'm really interested in seeing like how impressive the eighth gate is going to be that Kishimoto waited till this point to actually show it. So these are my thoughts on the Naruto chapter this week. I thought it was pretty well paced because it was split into two different sections. We had the Kabuto part, obviously, showing what's happening with Sasuke, giving us, like as far as, you know, I guess different theories we can come up with as far as Sasuke's power scheme, what he'll be like when he awakens. I personally think when he awakens, that he will have some type of senjutsu because they already hinted to it with him having to use Jugo, in order to be able to use the Sage transformation. So if he somehow obtains some Sage mode, he's probably going to have the marking that he had on his nose, or that'll be like his Sage mode. Like when he goes into Curse Seal, you guys all know how he gets the black star marking on his face. Well, I'm pretty sure, just like how Naruto gets the little markings along his eyes, that's probably going to be Sasuke's thing. Um, anyway, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. My rating for this week's chapter is going to be Kage level. Next week, for all I know, we may actually get a Sage to Six Paths level chapter. I mean, I know that's probably hyping it up a bit much, but we are getting the 8 gate. This is something since part 1, and if it's done right, I think it'd be worthy because of the hype. So, anyway, thank you for watching this video. Like I said, artwork was good, pacing was good. Great cliffhanger. I mean, excellent cliffhanger. So you can't go wrong with this chapter of Naruto. And for future chapters, I'm telling you, 669 will probably be the biggest chapter. Next week will be obviously amazing too because we are seeing the 8th gate, and hopefully maybe even Rock Lee will actually jump in and help his sensei. I don't want him to go 8th gate. He doesn't need to do that, but I would like to see him show that he has improvement. Maybe even go 7th to help him get in an extra lick or something. I don't know. Even though the 7th probably isn't anywhere close to the 8th. But this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.